And we're going to pick up with Chip, who has made a beeline for a truck stop that he's well, I shouldn't say very familiar with. He's familiar with it because the last time he was there, Tiago nearly shotgunned somebody.
Nearly?
I think it was his friend that actually shotgunned somebody.
Yeah, I was about to say, I could have sworn we turned someone into Stroganoff, but...
So,
anyway.
You have a couple of choices here. A few dry good trucks, a few flatbeds. There's also a couple of cold storage trucks to choose from.
There's a lot of rubble. I should probably go for one of those shorter, local, refrigerated units.
Speaking of that rubble, I will need a roll for that once we get to that point, but knowing what you do about trucks, I'm assuming the key's right in there.
Yep. And even if it's not, that's an easy fix. These are usually day cabs, so people don't sleep in them. So, no having to blow people's brains out this time, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry y'all are disappointed.
You don't even have a gun.
I don't need a gun.
It's got a pipe.
Yeah, but no, I'm gonna take that. We're just gonna crank it and go. No need to do anything fancy for these. They're practically U-Hauls.
Nobody even tries to stop you. If you had to take a wild guess, that driver for that truck has probably taken off in something that's a little bit more economical to actually get the hell out of Dodge in.
Anyone who lives in their truck has already dropped their trailer and tried to bobtail out. Like, yeah.
Getting it onto the road's not the problem. It's once the road ends. Give me that drive.
Dexterity drive?
Yes, sir.
Oh. All right, Arwen. I need your help here.
You have a specialty?
I do.
So that's one
professional
extra.
Training. They're both specialties actually. Oh no, not dexterity. I'm sorry. So yeah, +1 plus the willpower. I don't know if Arwen can really help at all.
If you spend a point of plasm, you can trade out one of your attributes for one of his. This would be his finesse attribute,
which is, what is his finesse? I didn't even know that was a thing. Oh, it. Yeah, sure. Arwen, take the wheel. Uh-oh. There we go. So that's going to make that +5. I'm just going to do... Basically, I'm doing the dexterity, which is a 2, but I'm going to add 1 to match the finesse to save on headache.
Okay, that's fair.
6 successes.
Nice.
Take the inspired condition drive.
Oh, that's going to be helpful.
And I mean, it's bumpy, but it might as well just be just a normal gravel road rather than
Whole city.
Yeah, exactly. It's just might as well just be a nice gravel dirt road rather than what you're actually driving over, which is crumbled buildings, rhubarb, all that stuff.
Yep, I'm going to make sure the cooling unit's going. I'm going to set it to 40. I don't know. I'm going to consult with the doc on that one. I don't want to freeze them.
I'm not the doc.
Maybe like 50. You know what temperature a hospital is normally at.
Just put it out at casual 21°C. That's room temperature.
There you go.
I love the
This is a horrible time to mention. Chip's American.
Okay.
So he looks at it and he's
put
like,
it at like 70 then.
No, that's the thing. It's Brazil. It's in Celsius. So
He doesn't know. 70 Celsius. Yeah.
Do I have to roll to convert?
Why does it stop at 30? I don't get it.
And also, it's a refrigerated unit. I doubt it's getting to 70 degrees inside a refrigerated unit.
No, but then I noticed it's Celsius, so I'm like, okay, so I know zero's freezing, I know 100's boiling. What's like halfway in that? I don't know. I'll
50.
confer. It doesn't take long, so I'll confer with the doc when I get there. I'll set it to like 10 Celsius. Like, at least I'm getting it cooler in there.
So, for expedience sake, by the time you arrive back, Júlia and Tiago, you have made your way there. So Chip would see a SUV park that he doesn't recognize. However, you would also see Malcolm, Tiago, and Júlia there, and the aforementioned Frank.
Yep, I'm pulling it up so we can load up and go. We come out and go, hey doc, is 10 Celsius good for injured people?
I didn't bother to look it up. What's 10 Celsius in American?
About 50, I think.
Yeah, 50 degrees.
That'll be fine. They're not going to be staying in it for that long anyway. It'll work. All right. Well, we need to first get Frank in. How many can we get in there? Can we find a few more?
You can
Have you ever seen MASH?
I've not actually seen Mesh.
We can make it work.
Tiago and Júlia, this does seem... This is the first time either of you have been this close to the devastation. Things are bad. Anything submerged in the water that's leaking out of the ziggurat gets devoured. Countless buildings have toppled over on top of people. It is a veritable sea of ghosts. And every so often you see these inhuman monsters appear. Scoop up as many ghosts as they can and drag them screaming back to the underworld, for lack of a better term. And then there's Malcolm and Chip here that are fussing over this one living person that they found.
Well, I kind of was hoping Malcolm would be looking for more while Chip was gone.
Okay, so you would leave the person that's going to keel over eventually here. Okay.
Not immediately dying.
What's he gonna do besides CPR? If he, like...
All I can do is give him warning.
Triage, He is not dead. There are people that could die.
Yes.
Alright, give me... you have a few ghosts working for you. Just roll me 5 dice. Consider
Okay.
this the Chronicles of Darkness version of a fortune roll.
Okay. 4 successes? What is what?
Okay. So, correction. For Chip and Júlia and Tiago. By the time everybody gets there, there's 5 individuals that Malcolm is fussing over. Running back and forth, taking vitals. Very quickly, you come to the realization that Malcolm's overworked and underpaid.
And he's waving, put that here, put that there. Dead bodies go way over there. He sees the truck, park it here.
And yes, Júlia and Tiago, you are in this scene as well.
So yeah, I'll jump out of the car and begin to run over, avoiding whatever water is like trickling or flowing.
I'll carefully make my way over, not to twist my ankle and die again.
take 1 point of.
Point to fall damage, you die.
I can twist my ankle and land face first and die a resident death and actually die here.
I hate to be the one to bring this up. Is there any plasm goop that we could scrounge about that I could get to get Júlia back up on her feet?
You want to just kill a ghost real quick? Just beat
I'm
one up?
figuring that has been happening. That's my point.
Any plasm that there has been has already been devoured.
I was afraid of that. Anyway, carry on.
However, there are plenty of ghosts should you decide to take the second route.
I don't think I could win beating one up, I'm going to be honest.
Julia's still looking
That's
worse
bit-
for the wear.
That's me.
Julie, do you need help? Come here, sit down.
I'm not going through this again. I'm busy. We have things to do.
No, you sit here, you keep pressure on that guy's wound.
First off, hold on. I'm busy. I need to find somebody.
Oh, you're here to look for bodies? Cool. Go
I
ask
hope
those-
it's not a body because then we're going to have an issue.
Less than less than helpful. Of course, as always, Julia, thank you.
Would you like to take a rock to the dock while you're at it?
Oh.
Julia just marches off, ignoring Malcolm and the triage center.
Well, what am I going to do? I don't have any medicine. I can't fix people.
I'm not asking you to fix people, I'm asking you to put your hand on the wound.
Just put a rock on the wound. Get a piece of cloth, put the rock on.
The rock was the problem.
Drifting Smith seems to be nodding in approval.
See, get some sticks, make a, get a splint, added like some rebar. There you go, you're good.
Tiago, I
Hello.
need your eyes and ears. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll follow.
I will help the good doctor out, I suppose, and keep pressure on a.
I just need it pressured until we get him to the hospital, then they can take care of it. We can come back and find whoever you're looking for. Deal?
No, not
Yeah.
really, but you're gonna yell at me if I don't.
Can I just say the absolute meta here is not lost on me?
So, Chip and Tiago, you guys are looking for more people?
Yeah.
Roll me perception.
Probably gonna assist. Really?
I got
Or-
one. Let's just roll it. It's
Yeah. Sorry. Well, it's just I gotta uncheck everything.
One success.
There should be a
Wait.
button to unclick everything.
You would think.
Who makes these? Send him a note.
I've said multiple times it needs to be a thing. I'll just have to remember to clear it.
Oh,
Not this character sheet. This character sheet's community made. There is one by Roll20, which I do have somebody I could talk to about.
Just tell them like a clear button or like clear after each roll would be great.
But the one made by Roll20 actually requires a lot more work, than this one does.
If you wanted to just clear, just use simple rolls. Like, just don't do sheet rolls at all. Just simple roll, type your pull list.
and I have to
That's
count.
that's what I do.
Anyway, as we're looking, I'm just gonna say, so Tiago, because we're looking at the mayhem, like, you ever hear the story of the girl and the starfish on the beach?
Go on.
There's a girl. She's walking along the beach, and she's picking up starfish that are getting washed in by the tide. Hundreds, thousands of them at a time. And so she picks up one, and she continuously, every time she comes across one, she throws it back in the water. Well, a man steps up, and we're looking as this is going on.
Yeah,
and
of
all the
course.
mayhem. Yeah. Man walks up and says, well, little girl, what you doing? You know, well, what's the point? You know, what you're doing doesn't matter. And she picks one up, and I look over and I see someone. I go, and she says, it matters to this one.
As you reach the one, the ghost that's flagging you guys down, as you reach that one and begin to clear the rubble, you hear a couple of voices up top. Hey! And then you hear footsteps coming down, sliding towards you in some cases as they slide down particular things. It is, once again, Tiago. You feel like you should know these faces, but you don't. Chip,
So for
however,
a moment, just
these are members of the crew.
Yeah. Figured.
Oh, thank everything that you guys are here now. It's been hell the last couple of days without you.
To be fair, we were caught in the middle of it before it got here. We're just now getting caught up in the gap.
So, what do you need us to do?
I'm just explaining. There's a survivor down in here somewhere.
They begin to move the rubble for you.
I tell them, do any of you have any medical experience? Can you do triage, first aid, whatever?
A couple of them look around. Nothing nothing on par with a doctor or anything like that, but like
Can you
personal
take orders
first aid.
from a doctor?
Yeah, certainly.
So, those of them who might not be search and rescue material, I'm going to direct them to the doc,
One of
keep
them,
who we find alive.
One of them kind of grabs Tiago and pulls him aside. Because Chip seems to be a little bit busy. So Tiago, there's an issue. A pretty big one. I don't know how much you know about what's going on.
I know enough.
So, as you can probably tell, this place is... Well, let's not even beat around the bush here. Reaper infested. Let's just call it what it is. I don't expect you guys to fight the Reapers, though, because there's too many of them at this point. However, there's a ghost eater about as well. And I feel like that's probably more problematic than the Reapers themselves at this time. Because she's not just targeting ghosts. We've lost a couple of people to her as well as we tried to help ghosts that were ensnared by her trap that she has set out.
Tell me more. Tell me everything you know. What have you seen? What are our traps? What have you...
Her traps are specifically designed for ghosts. And he pauses for a moment. I don't know how to explain them. We have stories of ghost eaters. They have this technological thing set up that ensnares ghosts. It's not even anything like that. It's almost as if she... You know the stuff you can do that we can't? Your powers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like that. I doubt it's the same. But it defies any sort of explanation. And she does it at the drop of a hat. Like with us, you know, the few things that we can do require a ceremony. She doesn't require a ceremony. She can do things in the moment that defy explanation. And the worst one is she doesn't need to do anything special to attack ghosts. I've seen her just straight up attack our Reaper. The Reaper wasn't materialized. We didn't see it until she forced it to materialize.
Where's she now?
He kind of looks around. And he tries to... He gives you a general direction, obviously. That's about all he's able to give because, just quite frankly, most landmarks and the like are just leveled at this point. So, he gives you a general direction, but there's going to be a little bit of you're going to have to figure it out yourself as well. And it's roughly at the tail end of this that Chip finishes up. Sending other crew members out and getting everybody in their correct spots.
I'll go back to Chip and it's eyes open, we got a problem. Don't let the others know. And then
Right.
fill them in on everything that has just been relayed to me as well.
Oh, yeah. I heard about it, saw it, or heard from them. Like, I know it's a thing, but I mean, it's not like she's jumping up and appearing around here. This place is so big, I didn't even want to start looking.
While she's around this,
All right.
while she's around, that's all we gotta. That's our main problem right now.
Okay. I'm gonna start calling out ghosts. Calling out. I'm just gonna start randomly yelling in vague directions. And, I'm just gonna try to get a feel for it. Like start sort of like a chain communication. Like find me that witch.
So, if you guys would give me wits plus streetwise with a +3 bonus. I feel like that's a decent bonus for,
Help.
yeah, having these ghosts help. Also, those rolls were... The power roll was specifically for the crew being able to dig people out.
Yeah.
So they're not doing a very good job of that. However, the finesse was for the crew members that were sent to help Malcolm and Júlia with medical and triage.
Who did you want to make that roll, Tiago or Chip?
You guys...
I just roll.
Oh.
I just roll it. Go 4.
Yeah.
2.
So up to you. If you want to teamwork that, you can do it with +4, as well as +3.
It's whatever. It's a success either way.
Yeah. So, with that, switching over to Júlia and Malcolm for a little bit, you start getting people that aren't sick or aren't injured. Members of the crew that are able-bodied, And they seem to be somewhat... They're no doctor, but they're certainly adept at following orders, and the ones that do have some medical knowledge, they're applying their trade as best as they can. Which means that Malcolm's not having to run, back and forth nearly as much.
I can start directing.
More so, yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, people start coming in. Not crew members, though. It seems like word is slowly getting around. You've made kind of a commotion in the area, so to speak, and people have been seeing, commotion in this area, so a couple of the other paramedics have started using this location as well once they saw you. So this is becoming more and more of a...
Stable.
Somewhat. Still no tents or anything, so...
Well. It's getting there.
Both of you roll me perception, and then if you succeed on the perception, I need an immediate wits plus empathy roll.
Hey. What's composure, success, what's empathy. Success.
You both see this individual, and there's something off. He's somewhat plainly dressed. Looks to be probably late 20s, early 30s, if you had to place an age. It's hard to describe him. He does look out of place. His features are, for lack of a better word, archaic. Doesn't look homeless or anything like that. He's kind of just moving through. He has this very... He's seething underneath the surface. You can tell if this guy did not have better control over his emotions, he would be absolutely losing it. As he's looking around, he's looking at bodies.
Does this person, we can sense other Sin-Eaters, yes?
Yes.
Does this person giving off that vibe?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not one of the bound. However, also with that perception check, you would notice when he's not looking at the people on the ground, he's staring at the ziggurat.
Or is he?
It's not too far, as stated. He's kind of moving through, looking at individuals. I don't want to say there's disdain on his face, but there is a certain level of, I would feel bad, but you're beneath me to an extent. And I have other issues on my mind.
Okay, well, if he's not gonna help, then he's in the way. So I'm gonna, yell that at him. If you're not gonna help, you're in the way. So I need you to either do this or move on.
And what are you gonna do if I don't?
Don't. What? Help or move on?
Sure.
Well, as long as you're not, causing my people to trip over each other, if you're just standing there gawking, then you can gawk over there at least. We're trying to save as many people as we can here. I just don't want people in the way, hindering that.
I'm not going to hinder anything. And at this point, he's looking towards Malcolm, but more looking through Malcolm. Once again, as if the majority of his attention is on the ziggurat, not really you. Matter of fact, hold up, I need to make a roll for him, honestly, at this point. Which means I have to go...
Hey, can we get into that really, really crazy red powder from your friend?
No.
What?
We can't get the Florida dust?
Last I heard, he dipped.
Yeah, he's leaving the city.
Oh, sorry.
So...
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I know where the warehouse is.
So this would be composure plus resolve. No. This wouldn't be. No, this is just going to be pure composure. So this is just a dice roll of 3. I don't want to roll on that one. Where is my storyteller? There we go. So composure of 3. You see him take a very deep breath. And I'm just going to go ahead and count your last perception check for this as well. You hear muttered underneath his breath, both Júlia and Malcolm are able to hear him. It's not really under his breath because you're not that close, but he is more speaking to himself. Figured something like this would probably happen eventually. I mean, it's not like I can sit in one location forever. It's what happens when you have to rely on other people.
You see, I know what I need to do, but like.
And at this point, you're not going to need a perception roll to hear that. You hear this individual whistle really loudly. And then some dog of some sort comes wandering up to him. And he begins to kind of make his way towards the ziggurat.
Hey, excuse me, where are you going? It's dangerous over there.
I don't think he really cares. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, I care if I have to dig him out of the rubble.
At that point, you kind of hear a as he laughs.
Come on, you gotta think. The only people that are either stupid or brave enough to wander towards a ziggurat are either too stubborn to die or have some way to get around it. I mean, we went in, didn't we?
And at this point,
You didn't go in, did you?
I did not.
At this
Wow.
point, he's actually further enough away that he wouldn't be able to hear you. Or at least you wouldn't expect him to be able to hear you. And then you just hear a very elevated voice going, "I'm both."
Wait, he heard us?
We're in an open street. I'm not being quiet, but I mean, it's just... Oh, people have good hearing. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about
the distance is a little bit beyond that.
it. Anyways, are you? What's the current state of the triage here? Am I? Like, am I needed, or can I go
No,
wander
you're not
looking for my
needed
homeless man?
anymore.
Okay.
Realistically.
Okay, well then, I'm gonna go find the nut job rambling about dragons now that I was told about. Okay, thanks.
Go ask that guy, see if he knows anything.
I think y'all just met an interesting nut job.
He's pretty nutty there.
Yeah, there'll be a pause and like, What do I gotta lose? I'll start jogging forward. Hey, sir, do you know anything about dragon? Does this napkin mean anything to you?
Ooh.
He stops when you say dragon, and then sees the napkin that you're waving, and there's a moment of sighing as he stops to wait for you to catch back up.
I mean, I'm not sprinting, but I'm just gonna casually jog, you know how it goes.
You really don't want to trip right now and take damage.
It's just bashing, I'll be okay.
Just like
Will you?
what is like the medic from
Maybe.
World War Z? You just trip and splatter your brains across the back of the helicopter. That was the dumbest thing ever.
Damn, F.
Kind of looks you over and goes, "How are you even walking, by the way?"
Sheer force of will.
And then he pauses for a moment as he looks you up and down a bit more closely. You see him blink. But for the best way to describe it, it's not the normal blink that you would expect. It's much slower. Much more deliberate, almost, is a good way to phrase it. And he kind of... He grabs his chin and kind of looks at you and goes, "What the... I'm sure you realize that there's something wrong with your soul, right?"
Do the mental calculations here of how do I politely tell him I have no idea what he's trying to say.
And then after he says that, he yanks the napkin essentially from your hand, looks at it, and he goes, "What are you trying to figure out about this?"
That's a great question. Many things, actually. A, how do we fix it? B, why was it at the bottom of an ocean? C, I don't know anymore.
Okay. I can't tell you why it was at the bottom of an ocean. I can tell you why it was at the bottom of that thing, and he points over in the direction of the ziggurat.
Well, I guess actually I could tell you the exact same thing. They sealed the thingy in it, didn't they? I saw him do it. We, kind of. Maybe not them. Like an MP3 of them. No, wait, MP3s. That's an audio, isn't it?
That's audio, yeah. MP4.
She doesn't.
MP4.
MP3. It's everything.
He rubs his face a little bit, and he's like, "You saw them? Question mark, so to speak."
Okay, I'm gonna sound like a complete drug addict, schizophrenic, and criminally insane. The ocean it was in, not the... where do I even start? Yes, we saw all 5 of them. They were... Back in... It was... a long time ago. I guess a fragment of them? Memory? We touched a weird tendon-looking thing on at the bank of the ocean.
You know what? One thing at a time. First of all, let me address you. And with that, this person reaches out a hand and touches you. And at this, I need to make a roll here. Gnosis.
This is good touch, not bad touch.
5 plus 3. Okay, so that's a dice roll of 8. I'm not gonna be super picky about reaching, etc. here.
Why not? What, you don't have the full character sheet open?
No, I do.
Okay, open Mage then. Get the calc up.
Absolutely not.
What do you mean?
Don't forget the Excel spreadsheet.
There's actually a website for mage spells.
I-
Yeah,
I-
you
and all the
need it, don't
information.
ya?
Simple roll. Let's. Oh, not 111. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, come on, he's been around. He's been there for a while.
So,
Ooh, exceptional.
yes.
He gets his mana back.
Where is it? So, you're gonna heal, 3 points of lethal damage.
Oh boy, that makes like 5 left.
However, that probably gets you out of, wound, what you would classify wound penalty range.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry, only 4 left. I'm not that tanky.
You feel a lot better, though. Like, it's easier to walk, it's easier to breathe, it's easier to move. However, at this moment, the person standing before you is no longer the same person. It's one of the individuals that you remember from the vision.
Do I like a? Did I ever get names? Like, was audio included in my my meat recording?
Didn't I see that vision though? Didn't Chip see that? Or
Julia
You did?
also touched it.
right.
Mainly because you weren't there, and I mean, that's my in-game excuse. Was Chip was too in a daze to tell us anything. I just wanted to do it because I had to.
Chip was doing the old man thing.
Yeah, I think you would have gotten names. However, they would be exceedingly hard for you to pronounce since they were
Pronounce, yeah.
ancient Serbian names. But this one, something along the lines of Kalmir.
Hey.
Okay. Oh, good. Very, very good. Not the one I was looking for, I think.
Drifting
But
Smith
close
kind of
enough.
shakes his head.
Why are you upset at me?
No, he was agreeing, not the one that you were looking for.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Things haven't really been the same, but since let's not talk about that. Good. Okay. Great. How do you fix it? I've run out of I've run out of leads.
How do you fix it? That question is probably going to be the question of the millennia. He stares at the ziggurat a bit further.
Well, can't you just do it again? Like, go find the other 4. Just no, they're
Okay.
probably dead.
Going and finding the other 4. Let's be real here. One of them I would probably try to put 6 feet under if I could. The other 3, I don't even know if they're still around. And if they are still around, they would probably try to put me 6 feet under, given certain circumstances. Though they might put away their pistols. And he's looking up at the ziggurat at this time. I mean, it's not unheard of. There have been truces in the past.
Okay, well then, how about we take a couple steps backward, and maybe I should just try to fix the original problem we set out to fix. The dragon down below. ghosts haven't been able to do anything about it. Do you?
Dragon.
I mean, you saw it, didn't you? Or what it used to look like?
Yeah. Okay, so you're a little bit ahead of me here. Okay, so the dragon I saw, that survived being imprisoned with the thing.
I mean, it is, I guess, dead? Because it's in the goats?
You can see Calmir's getting a little irritated. However, we're gonna go back over to Chip and Tiago right now. So, your game of telephone with the ghosts, basically your search warrant, whatever you want to call it. Man,
APB.
yeah, APB. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Eventually comes back to you with result. You have... It's not going to be one of those where I require a roll for you to find. You guys can just go there, so to speak, should you choose to do that at this very moment.
We're just in the middle of helping and go, Tiago, we got a hit.
From like the distance, just to kind of like, yeah.
Anyway, you still got those guns?
Do I have anything on me?
Do you normally travel with one? Because I wouldn't say you were prepared for a fight, but if it's something that your character naturally would have on them, then you would have something on them.
I don't have the usual armory, and just a puller sort of 9mm.
Good. Wizards hate bullets.
You know, when I was down there and faces were slipping away and forgetting everything, I thought might be a new beginning.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to burn some stuff in order to get a new beginning.
Something about, what do you say in America, is about eggs and all this.
Not really sure that's relevant for this situation. This is more like tipping over an egg truck to make a brisk.
In the middle of a street with a lot of ghosts. Understood.
Yeah, this isn't really not really relevant there.
Just bounce.
It takes roughly about 30 minutes. Essentially, it's almost on the other... It's very close to the actual ziggurat itself. But it's kind of on the other side, so it does take a little bit to maneuver around to get there. And eventually, you get to a spot that has very clearly been set up in some sort of arcane pattern. Not that you're not that you know a lot about the arcane, but it's one of those things. It's a very deliberate pattern.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything in Portuguese or anything, and given your target, you kind of get the general gist. There is a voice as she kind of shouts out to you. Recommend you not step in that. Otherwise, well, let's just say your Geists are gonna get glued to the spot and... Well, I have a smorgasbord out here. A Geist might be a little bit more tasty than usual. As you kind of look up, Catherine's legitimately sitting on the ziggurat roughly where the first, where it levels out the first time. So she's kind of got a bird's eye view of the area. She kind of leans forward, crosses her fingers together, and lays her chin on her hands. So, what do I owe the pleasure of a couple of the bound visiting me all the way out here?
I mean, eating ghosts. It was only a matter of time before one of us showed up.
I mean, I suppose you're right. But she kind of sighs. Where does that leave us? I mean, she kind of gestures. Don't you guys have bigger problems than me, honestly?
Do we?
She kind of looks around and gestures.
It's a bigger problem. You're just a small factor in that, you know? Speaking honestly.
Yeah, speaking honestly, she kind of sighs and shakes her head. Never thought I'd be here 2 years ago.
I think I speak
Yeah, well,
for
I didn't-
everyone here.
I didn't think I'd be here 2 weeks ago, so
I
it's a day of surprises.
spent a good portion of my adult life trying to keep things under wraps. At least to my understanding. And she kind of looks up back behind her. Well, this wasn't necessarily a part of what I was trying to keep back. Certainly tied to it. I heard the legends, or at least what legends were passed down to me by the previous caretakers.
So the question is, where do we go from here, right?
Exactly. I've done my research. I know the crew that specifically operates this area. Group of pilgrims, as they like to be called. Kind of take issue with my way of dealing with things. You would prefer people pass on peacefully, if my memory serves, while I tend to take a much more abrupt end to that which is dead. She kind of sighs and slides down the ziggurat. She raises her hands, kind of in a non-threatening manner. Realistically, I'm no match for either of you at the end of the day. Should you choose to end my life, my blood is on your hands.
Not in the habit of killing. But your little stunts getting live people killed too. So I've heard.
My stunt? Ooh. Okay. Humor me. What is my stunt? And don't try to say, oh, the ghosts that I've eaten, because, frankly, honey, they're already dead. And yes, she is speaking to you in English.
Yeah, no, I can look, I get it. We got two different ways of doing something. That's not the issue. The issue I'm taking, I mean, okay, real quick, above table, make sure I'm not misunderstanding. The crew did say that some live people have gotten snapped up in all of this mess that she's doing. I might have misheard.
No.
No? Okay. To backtrack a bit because I misheard. Sorry.
Yeah, no, she hasn't done anything to live people. Her main goal here is to, well, eat
Yeah.
ghosts.
Yeah, so back up because I misheard. So that's on me. Say, look, we both got two different ways of doing something, but don't you think that fixing the flow, the influx might be a little faster than, well, what this is? I ain't out to kill anyone today. There's been enough death.
She kind of lowers her hands. Well, that's good to hear, because I particularly don't want to die. And to go on to answer your question, this is how I continue not to die. I've got a certain level of... nothing truly is immortal in this world, as you very well know, I'm sure. But I have my own ways of keeping myself alive, and this is how I do it. Or how I will do it once I reach a certain level of plasm.
Said you're a caretaker of this ziggurat? Or of this hospital?
I was a caretaker of the sigil that was in the basement of the hospital I work at.
So
Then
was that your
some
doing?
stupid, and she literally spits as she says this, moronic individual decides and goes and breaks a seal that... She takes a deep breath and tries to calm herself. She is visibly shaking and her face has turned beet red. You can tell she's angry. And she's doomed us. And he's doomed us. This moronic individual does something so incredibly stupid that they pretty much damned the world.
Or called for worse. But where do you fit in all this then?
I fit in. I was the most recent one to be tending the seal, replacing the kidneys whenever they needed to be replaced once they became tainted, replacing the kidneys, keeping this barrier maintained while I replaced said kidneys. And then that idiot ruins it. I was working on ways to extend my life, so we wouldn't have this awkward transition of power every 20 or so years when one of us got too old. So I started... And at this point, a ghost... Ghost is a strong term. It's more of an echo. A ghost that kind of just repeats the same pattern when they were alive. They're not really cognizant of anything. Wander straight into the arcane seal and literally become stuck. She goes, I started devouring individuals such as that, transmuting them, and you see her begin to spin her hands and make a few gestures as this seal not only traps them, but you see their flesh start to melt away and turn into plasm. As I strip them of their essence, mutated into plasm, and then she literally walks over directly in front of you and starts picking up handfuls of plasm and downing the hatch. Arwen and Ishmael reactively almost charge at her. But they stop, realizing that might not be conducive right now.
Let's go easy. Ain't a whole. I said, everything's screwed up. Or Arwen, and I just kind of put him, go easy. Everything's screwed up right now.
She swallows the plasm. So I started doing this, as there are some texts that state that there's a quasi form of immortality that can be achieved this way.
Interesting note for later. Can we repair the seal?
That is far beyond the scope of anything that I'm capable of doing. I'll just be honest with you.
You said transition of power. What happens then?
Short ceremony, you're taught how to do it, and then you're told to do it. With this situation, it wouldn't need to be done if I could just be the forever guardian, so to speak. Obviously, there were a couple of other details that I hadn't worked out yet, such as how to stay in contact in the hospital, how to make sure that, I'm not find out, the typical, if you're going to be immortal, you got to think about these things. But I wasn't to that point yet, so that was future Catherine's issue.
Fair. But I guess if the ziggurat's already here, immortality is not really something you need. Unless it's something you want.
She looks at the ziggurat again. My concern wasn't the ziggurat.
Okay. It was the seal underneath.
It was what was sealed.
And look. Explain it to me like I'm completely out of the loop here, because obviously I am missing something.
The lore says there was a demon. An immensely powerful demon of plague and sickness. There was some sort of mystical connection between it and kidneys. So, we maintained a seal with kidneys to purify it and to keep it contained. Some moron came by about 2 years ago and picked one of the stakes out of the kidney that was nailed to the floor, caused the kidney to move, broke the seal, because the ritual for the replacement of the kidney hadn't been done. So, essentially, floodgate open. The entity escaped and is now running amok. Now, the ancient story states that this entity lived at the bottom of a gigantic pyramid. Gestures at the ziggurat. Now, I know, ziggurat, pyramid, not 100% the same thing, but I'm also aware that legends tend to be a game of telephone. Things get changed.
Right.
So, I don't really care about this thing. But the fact that it's here, my seal being broken, yeah, it all leads up to not good times are ahead of us. What are you making of all of this? She kind of gestures towards Tiago.
I think right now you've got a much more complete image of what's happened. You sort of see the pieces for what the way they are as a picture, we've still got the broken up jigsaw, you know.
I wouldn't say I have the whole picture. If I had the whole picture, then I would know what was going through that person's head when they disrupted the sigil 2 years ago. I also would know how this is going to end. I do not.
So, is this one of those things where we make an uneasy alliance until something's resolved, and then, going back to being sworn enemies as you take down those that we swore to protect?
She pauses and thinks for a moment. I suppose this is a good... Assuming that as soon as I turn my head, I don't... And she gestures towards your 9mm. You don't put a bullet in the back of my skull as soon as I turn around.
Call it a trust exercise.
I hated those trust falls.
Yeah, so did I. No one ever used to catch me.
I think that can work. But that does mean you're going to have to turn a blind eye to my delicacies.
Until this is over. And I will reholster the gun down the back.
She walks forward and offers her hand.
Glance back towards Ishmael.
Ishmael, you can 100% tell he's not happy. If he had his way, you would be shooting her right this very moment.
Right now. Necessary evil. Like me. And I will reach out to her hand.
She shakes your hand, and she looks over at Chip. What about you?
Sorry, I'm in like 8-bit right now. Like it's bad. I'm gonna have to switch to the other headset.
We can hear and see you fine.
Okay. Well, that's because it's working for like this exact moment. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to defer to Tiago. I don't like it, but like the Reapers, we got better things to do than, or we've got bigger fish to fry. In a way, like, see, originally I misheard and thought that like live people were getting snapped up in this, so that's one thing. But yeah,
I took a Hippocratic oath. She kind of smiles. Or I took a form of the Hippocratic oath. I'm only a nurse, but you know.
To be fair, I've never really trusted doctors that much.
Now,
But
I highly doubt it's just the two of you. I feel like we need to speak with other people, and she says that as kind of a half question.
on it, like, what do you mean, like half question? Sorry.
As in, she doubts that there's just two of you, two Sin-Eaters,
Yeah.
and two members of your crew, so but it's not unheard of for Sin-Eaters to work alone. So it's one of those things, she is kind of like, I assume there's more people, since she knows about the crew, but it's up to you if you want to introduce her to everybody, so to speak.
Like you said, there's a lot of people on both sides of the veil right now who are not appreciating, essentially you going on a killing spree in the middle of a mass casualty incident. I might not agree with what you're doing, but I also can't disagree that we have much bigger problems right now. We'll try to talk to everyone, but if I were you, I'd lay low for a bit.
I've laid low a little bit too long, I feel. Better for me to plead my case myself, don't you think? I'm my own best defendant.
No, I get that. I'm talking about, let's try not to eat anything in front of everyone else because, yeah, there's only so much of that's going to get tolerated.
And she actually begins, she has like a mason jar that she actually scoops up a large chunk of plasm into and puts it, kind of hangs it on herself, for lack of a better place to put it. And she goes, well, lead me to the others.
As well. Yeah, I mean, like, Chip might be the fighter, but he's not going to go commit murder. Let's be real. What do you think this is? Warhammer?
So, I'm actually going to switch over to Malcolm.
Oh.
Are you still just tending to the sick, or are you now very curious because it seems like this individual and Júlia are in a very intense conversation?
He's interested in what they're talking about. So he's gonna, take a look around. Is it self-sustaining yet?
More or less. Because there was already a group here, more paramedics have shown up. The occasional ambulance actually shows up here again to pick up some people. Pick up one person, realistically. Ambulances aren't known for having multiple people in them.
Right. They'll probably prioritize some of the... Well, they'll prioritize who they need to prioritize.
Yeah. But
I mean, throwing this out there, they could make they could make a much larger space and, like, just bring the ambulance supplies out, put them in the truck, use it as kind of a larger impromptu hospital.
He'll bark out some, last minute orders, keep it running, maybe send a guy to go get some tents, make an actual triage center.
As soon as you get about halfway there, you realize Júlia's not talking to the same person anymore.
Oh. And eventually, she found someone else. Okay. Maybe that's the homeless guy.
As you
Doesn't look homeless, though.
Yeah. Outfit's exactly the same. Just physical appearance is different.
All right, well, walk up. So, Júlia, learn anything? Find your guy? Is this your guy?
Kind of. One of the I don't know if it's the one I set out to find, but it's close enough. One of the ones I'm looking for at the end of the day.
Now, why were you looking for them? I don't think I got that part.
Well, why have we been doing anything in the past 3 months? I mean, we're on this wild goose chase. We have to fix the dragon problem, but then there's a bigger problem underneath it. So then we're trying to fix that, and well, this is one of the people that fixed it originally. So I'm telling him to do it again, and he's giving excuses.
Wait, originally?
Yeah. Long story.
He kind of nods.
Do you remember the fleshy tendon thing on the beach?
The one I didn't touch because, why would you touch it if you don't know what it is, right? Yeah.
All right. I did not go to the bottom of the world and dive into an ocean of sulfuric acid to quit,
Okay, that's fair. But to my question, you said this is one of the originals. Now, from what I remember, what you said about what you saw,
Look, I don't know. He looks like it and seems to know what he's talking about, so that's close enough. I think.
Your statement of it is a long story, you don't even know the half of it.
I mean, I think I kind of do, don't I? Julie is going to start rambling about the entire, basically, week she saw.
You still don't know the half of it, but you do know more than probably almost literally anybody else on this planet. So, as I had mentioned, if one of those people is alive, I would probably want to put a bullet in him. And not the same type of bullet that you're thinking.
It wouldn't be the first time someone wanted to kill him.
No, it wouldn't be. And several people have wanted to kill him throughout his entire life, I'm pretty sure. And pretty much the entire...
Well, in recent memory that I've met.
Who did you meet recently that...
Recently? How technically long ago was it? The other ghost at the bottom in the tunnel who was
that guy.
criminally insane. Yeah, you met him, didn't you?
Yeah, that guy was out of his gourd.
Realistic.
Did I get his name?
No,
I didn't.
Obviously, the most the most distinguishing characteristic is the claw arm.
Yeah, insane claw arm guy. Yeah.
Okay. Again, slow your roll. So, I'm gonna put this into words I understand. You guys are somehow attuned to death. You guys went to the underworld, saw a man that, let's not beat around the bush, me and my allies killed.
Yeah, that's how ghosts work.
At this point, he seems more frustrated. Okay. Well, at this time, I cannot fix the situation. Not by myself.
So what do you need?
So, everything we did back then was just... Realistically, we all kind of knew that this wasn't a permanent solution. I have spent the better part of my time attempting to figure out solutions. And, unfortunately, almost have goose egg. This is one of those situations where I only have part of the picture. This is a multilateral issue. It's gonna require a lot more minds and a lot more people to figure this out. And unfortunately for the two of you, he gets this kind of wry smile on his face. You two are now going to be assisting me whether you like it or not.
Oh, I've heard this one before. To casually stare at my Geist.
Also, I also see two other individuals that are, and he's looking at he's looking directly at you guys. He's not even looking at the ziggurat right now. I also see two other individuals on the other side of the ziggurat that are very similar to you. They don't seem to have souls. Friends of yours?
Sorry, I'm not omnipotent. I can't see through buildings.
Gives you
Probably though.
gives you an exact description of both Chip and Tiago.
Yeah, they're with us. How did you know? Did you meet them?
Let's just say I can see in a lot of different directions.
Malcolm puts a hand behind his back. How many fingers am I holding up?
Legitimately, how many fingers are you? 2? He says 2.
Okay. That was too easy.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
They're also traveling with a woman. She just ripped. It looks like she's interesting. She has a soul at least, though. So.
Yeah, I feel like that should be an insult.
What? I don't have a soul. Or I have many souls? I don't know the best way to phrase that. I feel like that's just going to confuse you more in the long run.
I had enough confusion for a lifetime already, so I've already asked what did you need, so what can I help you with?
Well, your knowledge of death and the domains of death are going to prove somewhat useful. A matter of fact, especially since I now have information that there's a dragon down below.
Oh, there is. We told it to go away once. It kind of worked. You did break its arm, didn't? Wait, who broke?
Yeah, that was.
I can't
That
remember.
was me. Burned it to a crisp somehow. I'm still not entirely sure how I pulled that off, but I wanted it off the boat, so I made it.
I still like to think it was me telling it to go away that did it, but that's just me.
This individual sighs and goes, "It's gonna take him too long to walk across." And he kind of sighs and he gives a quick glance over. They're probably far enough away. Let's see here, and he starts muttering to himself. Here, because I was an idiot and closed the other roll 20 that I needed open.
The Keller had space, didn't he?
Space 5, yeah.
Space 5? Okay. That's space 5. Okay, well,
I'm pretty sure he did. At least if it wasn't, it was high.
We'll go with it. Because it's probably something that Calamir's going to have, yeah.
Yeah, he was going to have it.
So when do I reveal my Geist to make Calmar freak out?
Chip, Tiago, you're walking, and then all of a sudden, you literally walk into Malcolm.
Like I knock him over.
Yeah, straight.
Just like straight up Shrek'd.
Chip.
Oh, sorry, I spaced out there for a second. What?
Chip, Tiago, and Catherine all end up face down on top of Malcolm. In kind of like a dog pile.
Oh, Malcolm's dead. Sorry.
We have enough hurt people. Get off of him, please.
He comes over.
Yeah, I'll
They
sort of
warned me
roll
this
out
was
from
coming.
one side.
Sorry about that. Probably a little bit jarring there.
You know what? I just shouldn't be surprised anymore. So I'm just not gonna be.
Okay,
So?
then why don't you, if you can, like, move people, why don't you just, like, move this thing to the middle of the ocean where it's not a problem?
You can move people. How many people can you move out of the rubble?
If I wanted to waste resources, I could probably get them all out. But I'm not interested in wasting resources, not when we have much bigger issues. And he gestures towards the ziggurat.
Okay, so you can get rid of that then.
That's more problematic. That thing.
You mean it's a building? A dozen determined individuals and a sledgehammer could get rid of it.
You see him grab his head and he goes, that thing's not just a building, it's supernal in of itself.
Yeah, it's super annoying, I get it, but sledgehammers work really well.
I'm not even a ghost expert, and I'm fairly certain that what he means is it don't work like that.
Right, go. Thing with Júlia, she may look like an idiot and sound like an idiot, but don't let that fool you. Sometimes she really is an idiot.
Ouch! Ouch!
Roll
That is
burn
not where
damage?
that is not where.
You take a point of bashing psychological.
Oh my god! There was no reason for that. That was just.
I didn't know we were rolling vicious mockery.
Damn!
Alright, well then if you want to go fix the problem, I'll go find the stupid homeless guy that the old woman was talking about. I haven't found him yet. Unless you're him. But you didn't know there was a dragon, so you're not him. Where's the other guy?
Okay, hold up. There's a guy talking about a dragon
That's what I said!
in this area. Well, okay.
Well, I don't know.
He checks.
I went
Not
to the
within my
favelas.
vision, at least.
I went to the favelas to try to find him, but they didn't have any information for me. And I figured,
And who is
Well,
this lady?
really annoying old woman.
No,
what's
he's
her-
gesturing at Catherine, who's slowly.
Oh, I have no idea. Who are you?
It's a long story.
It cannot be as long as the stories we have been trying to tell for the past 15 minutes.
Okay, let me explain. No, there is too much. Let me sum up.
Sum up, yeah.
Catherine is a guardian of this area, and she protects things, and and there's like a weird process where you have to promote people into guardianship. So she figured she'd skip that whole process and like cut corners. And I don't know what to do. I don't feel like committing murder today, and it's not like there's a whole lot going on here anyway. So I mean, we're just kind of letting people do their thing right now because I mean. We're all a little overwhelmed, and I'm getting real tight. Like he just keeps going.
Hold on. You're skipping a step between guardian and murder.
Again.
Guardian of what? He didn't look like you did a very good job, did you?
She's like, that was not my fault. That was that stupid. And
Yeah, so he's going to be as careful with this as possible. Apparently, someone broke the seal inside that ziggurat, and she's got a murderous intent for that person. So apparently that was a bad idea.
Okay, well, the person who broke it, I'm going to stare directly at the Geist, is already dead, so...
okay. Calmir goes, shut up. Okay. So, 1, I'm with her. 2, I don't think that's what we're talking about here. Pointing at Júlia. Okay. So, Calmir goes, now that we're all together and we're going to cooperate like a big happy family, because I said so, we have other issues. 1, last time I checked, there were corpses in there that were very, very fleshy and
Oh
pustulant.
yeah, they're still there. They killed me.
This is the moment where just everybody's like, there is so much to unpack that everybody's frustrated.
It's okay. I'm here for it. Can we get a therapist for Deviant? We're gonna need it.
Even it's just talking through our problems.
No. Alright. So, I'm gonna need all 5 of you to come with me. And he points at Júlia. I'm gonna put out a request, a ceasefire, so to speak, through the channels that I can get to. We'll see if your friend takes the bait. Mr. Talking about dragons. Because if he's still around, I definitely need to talk to him. I also need to get in contact with somebody else that has been trying to get into contact with me, and I've been successfully evading.
Like the IRS?
No, an ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Try to keep up.
Are you behind on your child support payments?
Or did you have that thing where you were like dating 2 people and you had to make a decision and you didn't?
No.
I mean, I wasn't going to distract him that far. I was just going to make a one-off reference. Y'all don't have to dogpile the poor man.
Oh, I thought we were using this as something to like alleviate our own guilt and suggest that maybe he was going through the same thing.
I don't see any dogs here.
Dog's right there.
He kind of sighs and he goes, Are we good? Are we good now? Have we alleviated the stress in our bodies?
We got a giant zombie pyramid.
It's gonna be an ongoing process, I think.
Probably.
There's going to be some therapy involved, yeah. I could go for a few drinks, that kind of thing. But you know what? Let's focus on the now.
The now is you're coming with me. We're leaving Brazil.
But the problem's right here. Not fixed yet.
Problem is not that ziggurat.
I think it quite actively is.
It is a very temporary problem in this area. Now, from what I understand, he gestures towards Catherine, from what you just explained, the seal is broken on this side. She nods. Which means the entity that I sealed and that my compatriot sealed is now free. Now, supposedly, looks at Júlia. You saw all of this. You know, we have a gelatinous mass of pustulant pus and sickness free.
Yeah, Chip saw it too, right? You can try to get some backup here. Like, I'm not insane.
Kinda, sorta. I mean, it was real hazy, and I was drugged out of my mind at the time. It could have been anything. Like, I was on some bad nachos.
He goes, okay, I'm sick of this.
Yeah, I am too. Join the club.
No.
You
In
know,
all seriousness, no, I didn't see it.
within the next moment, you're somewhere else.
Again. Why?
Sorry. Before going, I was going to say is I'm just going to make a journey with someone else. But wherever you go, I'll find a way to get back.
Unfortunately, he's drugged Tiago with him, so to speak.
Mid-sentence.
And you're in a completely new location. So, okay. So one, you're not gonna like the climate here. It's a lot colder. We're in East
Where?
Europe.
What?
Two, I
It's
realize.
just- Okay, good.
Two, I realize you probably had your own stuff. Don't worry, I can send you back. However, I need certain things to be done. And he kind of moves over. And you seem to be inside of a building somewhere. There's a lot of arcane implements. Or at least what you would assume are arcane implements.
But I don't recognize that.
I forget, all you guys have like 0 occult sometimes.
I got 2.
Why would we? We just died. Why would we have any occult?
And he kind of... He pulls out something. And what it is it's a small blue crystal. And he takes a deep breath and he goes, I don't like using this. However, I feel like I need to catch you up on things very quickly. So, who wants to travel back in time?
Can we go back to before I died and got stuck in this role?
This crystal's not strong enough for you to actually alter anything. However, it will allow you to see something that is very important.
Well, I'll say that looks much more appealing to touch than whatever was down there that they touched, so I'll give that a go.
And he looks over at Júlia and Chip. It's not going to be a rehash of what you saw. Or at least not entirely.
When I thought you were asking, I thought you meant like only one of us could use it. So that's why, you know, I've already had my bad trip. So,
He looks over at Tiago. Are you okay?
Yeah, like I say, possibly something I gotta do.
He nods. And Catherine actually speaks up. His mother's at the hospital where the seal was. She kind of looks over at you and she goes, I've seen you around enough. I know.
Like I say, I gotta take a final walk with someone.
Calmir nods and goes, I'll get you back. immediately. And he goes, okay, yeah, if I follow that. You hear him muttering. It doesn't make a lot of sense to you guys, but he's like following her sympathetic link there. Follow his sympathetic link. I could probably do it, yeah. I'm not even gonna roll here. Snaps his fingers, Tiago, and you're literally back in your mother's room. At this point, Ishmael is just completely losing his mind. He's so tired of this. He is this close to unleashing, going into crisis point, unleashing. He is so tired of being teleported around.
This is what we do, isn't it? You know, not being teleported around. That's completely new to me as well, but like...
No, Ishmael kind of goes, yes, this is what we do, but he doesn't want to be teleported anymore. Of course, everybody is somewhat shocked as you just appear in the room.
You know, I never thought I'd say it, but quietly to the crew. Legitimately, I think a wizard did it.
They kind of shake their head and they're like, interesting friends. They kind of nod. And they give you that solemn nod.
That it happened, right?
They shake their head. We can... The one kind of looking at the medicine, they go, I was able to scrounge up a shot of adrenaline. We can introduce this and she'll wake up. But after that, that'll be it. So...
No, it seems... kind of see things differently when you've been through everything. Bringing someone back doesn't feel like the right thing to do anymore.
I mean, you can still hear it. It's still a rhythm. It's still, you know, her EKG machine's still going off. She's still alive. It's just she is asleep. And would probably
I'll
remain asleep.
go over and it's just say, I'm here and whenever you're ready.
A few hours pass by. She doesn't wake, though. The last breath leaves. And shortly thereafter, a ghost slowly hovers above the bed.
Hey, Mama.
There's a bit of a confused look on her face, as you would completely understand. It's a very jarring experience.
We gotta go somewhere else. I'll tell you everything on the way.
The crew kind of gestures, saying that they have a site set up. And as you conduct the ceremony, you lead the ceremony. How much of it do you explain on the way?
Enough that I leave out the details, obviously, about how it happened, but that I got a chance at a second time around. I've now got a passenger who's now something of a friend, and that, yeah, as much as I can to make it as sort of ease that transition as much as possible.
She's like, so what comes after this?
That's up to you.
Kind of nods, and as you guys get ready to finish the ceremony, she says, Tiago, will I get to see you again?
Promise you will.
Well, at least they didn't lie about it, you know?
There's always a bright light.
And with that, we will call the end of the session. We will see everybody, not next week. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break as we switch gears a little bit. And we will see everybody for the beginning of Deviant the Renegades, Children of the Plague. Until then, catch ya. You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Geist the Sin-Eaters, 2nd edition, Marvelous City of the Dead, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener. If you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, when change comes, and it will it be full of hope or tragedy?